Hi. Apparently the thing doesn't tell me when I'm live anymore. That could be my dog. And apparently he's just happy to see everyone. Because mommy isn't playing with him right now, so he's throwing a fit. But if you're tuning in, hi. If you're watching this at a later date, hi again. I know that I haven't done a live thing in a while, and I'm actually doing it through talk, so I will invite people if they want. I know I said on my Discord it was at 7:30, but I had some technical errors called him. This thing kind of comes first. He got a new harness. He's in that fun stage where he's not in a large harness, but he's stuck in a medium that's all the way stretched out. Yeah. And hello. Hello, Lisa. Yeah, it's been a week. I know I was supposed to get my God video and my lesson video out this week. Unfortunately, due to issues with the Mac, as in something didn't save correctly, and I got mad and said screw it. And dealing with family issues, Soren's second father, a man who had been there for her after her dad died. Well, their dad died, and who had been nothing but the sweetest guy in the world to them, passed away from ALS in the frontal lobe on Wednesday. So they've been having their issues, and I've been spending all the time I can with them to help support them and help them feel better. Which led to a fiasco today as I was coming back from volunteering at the cat house. I was driving alone. Yes, Loki has their license now and insurance. I'm kind of glad about the insurance part right now. And as I was driving, I stopped at a red light for a turn, which you're supposed to do. Well, the car in front of me decided to have gone right when it turned yellow, and then they slammed on their brakes right as I got to the line and stopped. They were halfway through the fucking turn. Excuse my language. They backed up into me and lovingly left a nice damage on my hood's dinted in, and one of my lights is busted. But luckily, it's only the high beam light that's busted. The regular light is fine, so it's still usable. The radiator was not damaged. It is pretty much cosmetic damage. It's going to probably cost us, if we use the if we have to buy the parts new, it's going to cost us at least $250, which I'm selling that. And if I can get them at a pick apart, which I have one down the way for me, it might cost less. But we'll have to see if a friend can help us install and put that stuff in. Or we can see if the old-fashioned I have a hammer works. I'm kind of hoping the I have a hammer works for at least the hood. But nobody was hurt. The bastard drove off. So I now have a undying hate for assholes and Ford F-150s. Mostly the assholes driving the truck, not the truck itself. My dad had one, so. But it's just been very interesting. That was a not so great way to end my week, and around the beginning of it last week, so it's kind of been 2 weeks of hell. We've been dealing with our boss, who sometimes is not the nicest person, and with the full-time position opening, that's why I got my license, was primarily for that, and so we could save money on gas. And if you see the reason my arm is moving is because I'm keeping my dog quiet. He's being an attention whore. But I mean, let's see. I've blown out 2 tires and got backed into. The universe is saying, Loki, get a different car. Or that's how I'm interpreting that stuff right now. Because why not? I mean, our little car has been a good car and everything, but it has its problems. And right now, if I get this full-time position, that's actually one thing we're doing is we're going to get a new car. Well, new to us, not to the world. Because let's face it, the second you buy a new car and drive it off the lot, you're paying more money than it's worth. So we're going to go the used route and do that. And you know what, dog? Here, have a handful of your mini snacks. And lay in your bed. I love animals, but it's just been a very interesting 2 weeks. I mean, the tire thing, we got new tires. That was quick and easy, but I don't have a good look with cars apparently. So I was pretty much rattled about that almost all day until I was messaging my dad, and my mom made me laugh, so that helps. My mom was the one who came up with the idea of beat it with a hammer. I mean, the hammer idea could work, theoretically. It would be fun. But I know for my parents, it hasn't been good. My dad's been looking for a new job since the store he worked at closed. Oh, I'm sorry, lady. My mom, start of her week was her car broke down, and it ended up being what my dad said. I think it was one of the pumps. The pump out, dog. How do you eat snacks that quickly? Water pump broke down in my mom's car, causing that in the radiation hose a hose to snap, and they had to get it towed. That was $100 they didn't have. Then my Uncle Roger's car broke down at the side of the road yesterday, and I get rear-ended. Backed into, not rear-ended. Technically, I would have rear-ended him, even though I was stopped in a legal place. He was the idiot that was about to run a yellow light and decided to back up after people were already there. Before you ask, no, I did not get the driver's license. I was just a little bit in shock of what the hell did he just do? Because I couldn't back up because I had a line of cars behind me. Novel concept. That's it. No, I didn't actually get him. Doggy deterrent. I just hold it and he runs. Yeah, I mean, and me being a new driver, that terrified the living crap out of me. I was by myself as well, so it didn't help. And we've already decided when we get another car, we're getting a dash cam installed. Because we don't want to worry about this. We don't want to have to deal with these things, because it's been happening more and more around my city. I had a coworker who was driving and they were stopped at a stop sign and someone slammed into their back, pulled out and drove off. So we're seeing more and more people with either no license or no insurance that are doing hit and runs. And it's just some people can't afford the insurance. I mean, my insurance to start was only $33, but next month it goes up to $88. Did I claim it? Hell no. I only have and this is the stupidest thing in the world. Apparently with Progressive, the reason why you can get it cheap to start is because all you get is liability. In order to add everything else on, it would have cost me $200 up front and $300 every month. I'm sorry, I can't afford that. I mean, that's half my paycheck right there. It's kind of ridiculous what they're doing. I'm looking into a few other car insurance right now. This is just the one I have. I can cancel it anytime. And yeah, rather I use it or not, and it might be being canceled. I'm looking at AAA, and I believe I was looking at State Farm, because my Soren goes with State Farm. They haven't had a problem. Also, I pay my mother-in-law a little extra to throw me on her insurance. It depends on what she wants to do. My dog is just really happy to see me today. But it's been a week, and by the looks of it, it's been a week across the board. So it's not just me hitting this run of bad luck. I'm going to be starting to light a lot more candles and hoping that helps. Because either someone or something, or just life in general, is being a douche rocket. And that is a new term I'm quoting, douche rocket. I actually got my Patreon straightened out, at least. Apparently somebody decided to report it as fraudulent, which, how could it be fraudulent when I only have one patron right now? And that's Leon, who I think passed out, even though I sent him the link. Dork. But with that, I might be opening access to the Discord group if people have Discord. Let me know. Either hit me up on Twitter or send me a message on here, and I will link you into the group. Granted, you won't get some of the perks that the Patreon members get, but you'll be able to have access to sitting there and picking on me when I'm bored, and a monthly voice chat if you guys want, to where we all can talk and move around. I mean, this is an actual open thing as well. Hello, Zaboa. But it just seems like things have been going interesting, and I have parts of my car sitting on my computer desk because I was getting the loose bits out. We're going to just tape the headlight tomorrow and then hope for the best. But we're more concerned about the hood than we are anything else, because we have to get the oil changed in about a week. Ah, Heathen Haven, yes. We all missed that too, and hopefully we'll be getting back to it around September. I believe that was maybe the plan. Something along that line. Because even us ones who run it have missed it, but it has given us a break to work on the summer of stuff we needed to get done on our own personal lives, and for me that has actually helped. I was able to focus more on getting my license. I was able to focus more on getting stuff to get full-time at work. Hellbound Heathen? He is doing stuff on his channel. Yes, I think it is September. Wow. Yes, it is September. Sometime this month we're supposed to be back. I don't know. Dorian's in the process of moving right now, so I will know more when people talk to me on the Twitter, because that is technically how all responsible adults apparently on YouTube keep in contact. We message each other on Twitter. If Mad can get things organized, he will be joining us again, hopefully. I say hopefully. I hope we can get everything organized. And yes, Hellbound Heathen did upload today, and I was actually watching his video when I was eating my dinner, and it was about that whole let's erect statues on things, because, well, if you can put the 10 Commandments, we can put our statues up too, which I 100% agree. If one religion gets their way, all religions should have their way, especially when it comes to that. And I got to keep my tennis shoes away from my dog because he eats everything. There we go. The joys of a puppy. Haha, what's Twitter? You know that thing that's a little bit more relevant than Facebook? Because apparently, according to the news outlets, more people my age and younger are deleting Facebook from their phones. And when doing that, they hardly check it at all on the computer, if they do check it. I only keep my Facebook for my family and my friends, obviously. Oh, Facebook is a cesspool of doom. And apparently the dog doesn't get the idea of sit down and chew on your chew toy. Show. Why does it do this? Show. So for some reason I have the censor on my live stream now. So I have to approve if you say the words like fuck. Apparently I have power. I didn't know this. Like I said, I keep Facebook because my family, and I technically can uninstall and just look at my computer, but it runs extremely slow on my computer. Yeah, I love you, YouTube. You're a jackass. If it's not blocking me from doing things, you're blocking my viewers from saying fuck. I'm just gonna let my dog sit here and hit me with a stuffed duck. Hey, speak of a devil! There's one right there. Long time no see, Hellbound. Yep, there he is. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting everything back going, and I'm looking forward to our little Mod Podge and our brains dying of evil. I mean, not evil of the what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, apparently we're lacking in the quota of eating babies, people. Come on. Those babies aren't going to eat themselves. Yes, we were just talking about you. Because you're so dearly missed. And you are, actually. I missed your smart ass. On Dorian's life to settle down. Yeah, pretty much we are waiting on Dorian's life to settle down for him to get done moving, get everything organized. Yes, for Heathen, that is. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it for parts of my car. And hopefully everyone's life settle down and we can get everything back going and deal with fun and easy stuff. And the fact that Loki's supposed to be quitting smoking, yet I have a pack of cigarettes sitting in front of me. It's been that week. But I think it's kind of understandable with everything that's going on. And then I have to laugh at some of the things on Facebook, especially that whole Sephora thing. In my opinion, I partially really don't care, but at the same time I do, because they did not put out information on any of the stuff. So I would vape, but it's too damn expensive. What's been going on is Loki's not allowed to drive a car for a couple of days because I got somebody rear-ended to me, and so that's about $200 worth of hood repairs we got to do. And then yeah, let's just go with that. Sephora, what did you do this time, Sephora? Oh. Yeah, smoking is one of those things that it's hard to quit sometimes, and it's easy to pick back up. I've been on again, off again. I mean, I for one time went for like 5 years without touching a cigarette, and then this will probably last me about 2 weeks. I don't smoke that often. It's just when I'm stressed. If I go through an entire pack in less than a week, there is a big problem. If I go through it in less than a day, there is a bigger problem. I need to see a psychologist at that point. That's why I don't drive. Well, I had to drive to get my license so I can get full-time, so that hopefully I'll be bringing in enough money to where it doesn't matter if I have a Patreon or not. It'll mean that we'll be able to actually afford the place that we've been looking at, that right now, because of my income, we're at a halt. Even though it's a stable income, they said that they don't trust that we'd have the money. Hey, look, he showed up. I sent the link to Brad. And I think my dog just threw his own toy behind me and now is running up to me. Gotta love being able to see yourself in a camera and being able to see what the dog is doing sometimes. Well, I would take a bus, but there's like 5 buses I have to take just if I want to get to work, and I would technically have to switch my shift. By the way, hello, Leon. I'm giving you crap. Well, but others have made a valid point of the witches get to. I see the good and the bad. I see it like, hey, look, cheap oils. But I could probably go ahead and get oils that are better quality and not perfume. And that won't make me gag or have to use my inhaler. Tarot cards actually looked interesting. I'm like, hey. And if I want white sage, I just go to my Navajo jewelry store that's run by people from the Navajo tribe that are really nice and bundle their own sage from their home, and bring it in and sell it for $5 a bundle because they want to keep the traditions alive of smudging and making everybody feel good and have a nice smelling house. But I remember I was talking to somebody on a different forum about that issue with the whole white sage. This is one of those things that make me just facepalm. I grew up in Colorado. I have an uncle. His name is Lloyd. And he's part of the Pueblo tribe. Most of my childhood was spent in Colorado, as most people know. Most of it was spent with hanging out with families, hanging out with all my friends on ranches, in areas where they love people coming to the powwows, they love people coming to their shows, they love people coming and learning. When I was growing up, the Pueblo Indians around my area was very welcoming to anyone. And because we were with my uncle half the time when we would go anywhere for those, we were pretty much considered family. And I had people actually say, no, you're Lloyd's niece. You're family. Get over here. You're supposed to be part of this. This is how this is done. This is how this is done. I mean, we were taught respect. We were taught things that we were supposed to be. And that was some of my younger years as a kid. Even though I was at that time Christian, or as most of you know, Mormon. But it's still part of the Christian spectrum of you believe in Christ. And yeah, the main problem was it was being wild harvest, which sometimes I can see, but other times I can also understand if it's from the tribe itself. I was looking at the price of it originally, what they're going to have. I mean, for that much money, I could get a different deck that doesn't look like a rainbow puked on it with pastels. But I can also get all that other stuff for a lot cheaper and probably more of the oil. In a way, it is kind of silly. It was just mostly to make money before Halloween. And I know a few basic people who go, look, I have this now. I'm a witch. You know, those stupid people. I mean, I understand where more things is considered into the traditions, and people like to learn either from books or from others or on their own. I mean, we now have the World Wide Web where we can look things up and find information and deal with stuff like that. Apparently my dog wanted to shower. Yes, Logan is right. Smudging itself is not something that's just native to Western occult traditions. It was borrowed from the Native American practice, yes. And my Xbox X. I never use sage for any smudging. I normally used it just to clear the house of negativity, or just to light some to smell good. I like the smell of sage. Certain sage, actually, there's one sage I will not burn because it smells so horrid, and that is California sage, because it's pretty much like almost a weed smell. It's weeds as in like the weeds that you go get out of your garden kind of smell. It was the worst sage I ever used. Behind the spirit, it is something significantly good for the idea of spiritual cleansing. Yes. Yes, I'm trying to read all your comments at the same time as you say. Yes, the idea behind spiritual cleansing oneself with sage is specific to certain select of Native Americans, but they use sage pots to warm grapes for Italy. Cross came, yeah, they might have. I would have to look that up. Smudging pots. Well, if you think about it, smudging even with anything besides sage is pretty much burning a plant and letting the smoke come in and take. Somewhere, and also it heats up stuff. Traditional witches you traditionally use incenses for blessings, stuff like that. But I've learned Cherokee, but now considerably sage. Yeah. With Soren, they're quarter Cherokee, so that's why they love me burning sage in the house. But I like doing it because, again, I like the smell and I like the cleansing kind of internal feeling it gives me, because it gives myself something. I don't think it's anything to do with the plant itself. I think for me it's psychological. So, yeah, it's easier to strap into some electronics. Yeah, it is. Some people like to use sage, some people don't. I mean, for me, I use it in my cooking because pineapple sage smells and tastes really, really good in soup. The new place, like I said, right now, they know we have the income, but they're not letting us move in until I have better income, apparently. The place has not, no one else has been interested in it. We're the only ones to put in for it, but they're like, well, you might have a job, but we don't consider that stable because you're considered part-time. That's why I had to work on getting my license. I had to get all that stuff. And yes, I have my license, hence the incident. But they have 3 full-time positions opening. I put in for one of them, and hopefully I'll be switched to swing shift. So that would mean Sunday nights I can stay up later. Luckily for me, it should be it should be a home run, depending on if the douche lord, that is our boss, is okay with it. He's one of my leads is pushing to get 2 part-timers, me and another person, into it as promoted, because we've been there for 5 or plus years. Thank God. Okay, back on topic. How do you perform? How can I perform kitchen witchery without being open about it? Actually, cooking and baking. Basically, what I used to do when I didn't want to bother my parents with my chanting or anything like that is I would take some herbs beforehand and bless them by myself, and then I would end up mixing them into like the stews or whatever I was cooking. And I mean, thyme and cooking sage along with parsley, any kind of herbs that you cooked with, you can bless and use in your own kind of cooking spell. I mean, they make great rubs and great additives to soups and other things. I mean, I have fun doing that, and sometimes I actually sing and be a dork when I'm doing my cooking in my kitchen because I can. Now with the dog, it's trying not to trip over him while I'm moving around in my kitchen. That's one life change I think I shouldn't have done. But hey. Okay, cooking, baking. Ooh, num num num. I still love my dog. I won't trade him for the world, but at the same time, cooking with the dog is like cooking with a toddler. It is learning and experience. Oh, heck it. My brain was not connecting a word. Yeah. I put spells in I put a magic touch in my food. I've actually banned wild sex from my kitchen because I cook in there. No, I've never had wild sex in my kitchen because I'm afraid someone's going to end up touching the stove and burning the crap out of themselves. That in my kitchen is kind of really small. Yeah, I mostly use it for cooking, making milkshakes. It used to be known as puppy gel, and then he got too big and knows how to knock down the baby gate. It's too quiet. I have no clue where he went. It's called somebody accidentally turning it on. Yeah, just think about that much. You put your partner up on the stove and you kind of burn their butt on the burner. Wow, we have pretty much gone into territory of this is why I don't get monetization on YouTube. That and I don't have the sub count. Hello, my furry friend. Oh, did I post the link in? No, I didn't, and that is probably why he is PMing me. Where is it? So, yeah, apparently I remember how to actually do things. I have to refresh my page real quick because it froze. Because YouTube likes me. Not really. There we go. Sometimes my computer likes to freeze my YouTube just randomly. Oops, sorry, honey. Didn't know. We're probably going to have to go and see the doctor about that interesting circular pattern spiral on your butt or your other bits. I actually have an electric stove with like the little coils. I've been looking at seeing about when we move about getting one of those nice sleek ones that don't have the coils and that are easy to clean. That would be even worse. Oh, I have to figure out where my dice went because when we were moving things around and packing things, apparently they went missing. I'm sure my dog didn't eat them, surprisingly enough. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Or just stay away from the stove altogether and just use the countertop. don't use the fridge. Don't ever use the fridge because that might open or fall on you and then your night's ruined. I think at this point, bathroom sex would be safer than kitchen sex because there's a lot of things in the kitchen that can go wrong, like hitting the microwave, the stove, the fridge falling on you, a drawer opening by accident, knocking over the knife block. Dear Lord, I never realized how dangerous a kitchen is. That is slightly terrifying. The bathroom's not the safest place either. I mean, you can fall and crack your head open on the bathtub. Wow, why do I think of these things? I blame knowing you guys and knowing the society we've lived in. I mean, I have missed talking to you all. If you want the link to actually join me in this madhouse of talking, where is my link? Share? Copy. Yeah, explain that stuff to the landlord. Kitchen killed my pa. God damn it. Oh, man. What were you doing with your paw in the kitchen? I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, also explain that to your house insurance company, your homeowner's insurance company. Killed your paw. I've really missed everyone. I'm not going to lie. Beanbag. Never tried that. It might be a little pain in the butt. I don't know. You sink in or stuff. I know Papa. Papa means father, father or dad, for the most part. But I've also discovered there are certain things that you can't say in public anymore. Next State Farm commercial. Yes, I can see it. Oh. There is. Are you even online here? Ah, you are. One at friends and two message. Paste. Oh. Like I said, if you want to join in on the whole conversation of actually talking with me, because I have headphones, no concept, I could actually pull people into the call. I just sent one thing via Discord to somebody that is apparently a papa killer, or the kitchen killed your papa hellbound. I mean, pop up here or let me know and I can send it to you via whatever social media or whatever you use. It broke during kinky sex. Do I have coverage? I'm wondering if people do have coverage when it comes to that. I wonder if that should be in a policy. Don't fix acts. Actually, I don't think it'd be acts of God at that point. It'd be act of debauchery. They need to have a clause for debauchery. Oh. Oh, yes, gods were probably invoked. Take your time, hellbound. When you realize something's supposed to be nice and good, and you turn into something dirty and horrible. Oh, God, it's fun being an adult. sometimes. And then you have to pay bills. Which brings me to the funness of just life in general. Who even came up with the idea of bills? Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going a lot better than it was. This actually has helped cheer me up from everything that's happened this week. That's a bonus.
Yeah, sounds like you had a hectic week. What happened?
Well, my mom's car broke down, my uncle's car broke down, and then I had somebody run into me and dent my hood and destroy one of my headlights.
Oh, that sucks. But do you have car insurance?
I do, but because Progressive sucks, they will only allow me to have liability, and if I want everything else, I have to pay almost $300.
So
and that's half my paycheck.
Oh, that sucks. So, and then what's going on with your car now? Can you still drive it, or is it just toast?
It's still drivable. It was just the high beam or the bright light that was busted. At least the normal headlight works, and the hood is dented. It's mostly cosmetic, so it's $200 of getting the hood fixed so we can open it.
Which is good for a hood.
Yeah, because we kind of need to open it for oil changes. And I was talking to the guy at Midas, and he said to bring it by tomorrow, and he'll grab the crowbar and see if he might be able to loosen the lock on the inside and get it to pop up open to see if we can use a hammer to dent it back out. If not, we have to go to a body shop.
Yeah.
And
well, it sounds like you can do like a temporary fix until you get something else.
Yeah, we were looking at, my dad sent me links to prices on the parts that are semi-new or as new as you can get them without ordering from the manufacturer, and not as used as going to pick parts. And the hood itself is about $150.
Yikes.
Yeah, and that's like, oh, I need full time. I'm just going to buy a new damn car. I just gonna buy a new damn car.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's crazy nowadays just to get by what you have to do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it'll be easier for me just to buy a new car and put that one as our. Oh crap! We have a second car at least.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like the oh shit, our good car broke down and we need to get somewhere.
Use the junker. Or somebody's at work and the other person needs a car.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, because I am pretty much being the person in charge of taking care of the furry friend run and grocery runs when somebody's asleep or at work. And I got some really good news. Guess what I found? I can now officially hook the TV up to my Mac.
That's awesome.
That was the stupid little piece I needed that took me 3 different tries on Amazon for them to actually send me the right one.
And where was it all this time? 3 inches away from your feet?
No, this is actually every time I sent back to Amazon, I finally got a refund the last time. And at work a couple weeks ago, they were throwing out a bunch of old what they considered no longer needed parts to the Macs and the Mac Labs. And they're like, hey, you guys, if you want anything from the boxes, go ahead and look. And this was the only one they had in there. It said it works. I'm like, I've been looking for this piece for Lord knows how long.
Hey, put that back up on camera and show me the fat end. What's the receiver, or is it? This
is where the HDMI goes into.
Oh, okay.
Because I think don't have on the Mac.
Because you know what, I have something that looks sort of like that, but it's kind of like a little more rounded. I wonder if it's that thing. If it is, I'll see if I can figure out some way to get it to you.
Well, I have this one and it works at least, and because it has a different hookup for the Mac, this isn't exactly a USB.
Okay,
hookup.
Yeah, so
it's
it is
a specialty. Yeah, and it's just to make a Mac where they can take a USB thing so you can do dual screens.
Okay.
And it's one of those parts that you can find online for cheap, but for some reason they always send you the wrong ones, or Amazon just hates me. I'm gonna go with I have bad luck with Amazon.
Yeah. And
I
around
really
here where I live, there's been a lot of thefts. People just steal packages, and like what they'll do is they'll open the trucks up and steal packages.
oh damn.
Yeah. It's I mean it's only happened a couple of times. Like I came across this guy on the street. He had a whole bunch of boxes that had Amazon on them, and I saw him and I looked at him, and it was obvious that he had just stolen them. You know, it was by a bus stop, and he was just opening them up just to see what he could find in there.
Yeah, and it's a shame that people are going to that level nowadays. I mean, we were kind of shocked with the applicant we had like 3 openings at work in 3 different departments for custodial alone. And for the custodial one that I applied for, this is why I got my license, we had over 80 applicants.
Wow.
For 3 positions, and they're going to cut that down to 10 people and then cut that down to 5 people and hire 3. They're going to go after the people with the experience and the people who have been at Clark longer. And upside is that all the part-timers that put in for it, my coworker and I, who've been there about 5 years each, put in ours, and we've pretty much all we've been told. We just have to wait until they set up our interview. So I at least have the first step down, unless our boss decides to be a douche rocket.
Yeah, well, at least you're in there, and you have connections, and you have your foot in the door, so that's good. So, I mean, it would be. I think that's the way it should be. That the people who have been working with your company should have the opportunities to move up in the company. That's the way I think it should be, rather than hiring somebody from the outside to fill an upper position that's a higher pay. I think it should be fair that the people in the company first are promoted, and then their open positions are hired for.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the department I do work for used to be able to just promote part-timers up if they met the qualifications. And then somebody complained because they weren't promoted and somebody was promoted over them. Because when the person didn't meet the qualifications and the person below them did. And this person that got skipped over complained, went to HR, and then attempted to sue the school over it. And so our department's the only department that cannot promote people because of that one person. And it caused the other person who was given the promotion to lose the promotion, and it given to the person who didn't meet the qualifications. And within half a year, that person was gone anyways. So one person ruined it for everyone else. And we have to not only do that, we have to meet diversity quota, and we have to meet all these different things. And we're the only department in the school that has to. And it kind of sucks. I understand why they did, but at the same time, I still think it's stupid. They didn't start pushing the licensing until like about 2 years ago, and so I got my ass about it.
I think forced diversity nowadays is actually, I don't think it's beneficial anymore. I think it was really good when you had a company that was basically just one face. And it was good to have diversity then. I still think it's good to have diversity, but it shouldn't be forced. It should be, you should have equal opportunity for everybody in your company to move up. So like, for example, those 2 people who you mentioned, one had experience, the other one didn't have experience. You should be able to train a person into a position. Yeah. If you have somebody who's already familiar with the business and maybe they don't have enough experience or whatever, you can still train them into that position. So it's not that big of a deal. So you should go by the merits of that person, like, okay, well, how many days did they miss, or, how was their performance? And I mean, you should really judge it upon neutral criteria, and then, and then train the people from inside. It shouldn't be like, oh, we'll hire this person because we need diversity. I mean, it seems fair, but it's actually it's not fair, because it's the person who's moving into that position is going to feel like they're in that position because they're filling a space. They're not really qualified for that position. I mean, they can feel that way, and I don't know. I think it's actually destructive now.
It is. We have one individual who knows he was hired because he's of his skin color. He's like, I know I was hired because of this, and the only reason I'm still here is because of it too. He's like, which honestly, he's like, if I ran a company and somebody was able to get away with being only coming into work maybe twice a month, but in all due respect for him, his wife is in and out of the hospital right now. But he's like, if I ran a company and had an employee doing that that's not on family leave, they would be gone. He's like, I wouldn't have cared. He's like, the only reason they're keeping me is because I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and I hate the fact that I can take advantage of this. He's like, and I have maybe once or twice. He's like, but the rest of the time, I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, and it discourages a lot of people who already work there as part-timers for trying for full-time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they put so many regulations on us that they want, and then when we do meet the requirements, sometimes we get told no just because we don't meet a diversity or we don't meet something. And right there on the application is like, are you part of one of these groups? And it has from LGBT to, it has everything on there except for, are you a plain white person?
Mm-hmm.
And I do fall into two of those categories. I'm a woman and I'm part of the LGBT. So it's one of those, I feel bad for the fact that a lot of people get skipped over because they don't meet a certain qualification that they're looking for at that moment, just because they have to look good in the public eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think especially before, let's say maybe the 80s, maybe even into the 90s, I think there was this concept of a good old boys club where they would basically hire their friends. They would hire their buddies. So people who applied for a position, maybe they were a woman or a minority, and they would apply for a certain position, and they would get, they would go through the motions, act like they're going to interview them, like they're acting like they actually have a shot, whereas in reality they didn't. And and I think especially with the growing of the ACLU and equal opportunity, where people started getting in trouble for skipping over people who were perfectly qualified for position, basically so that they could hire a friend or hire somebody who they wanted to. Or maybe they had an unconscious bias where they look at an application, look at the person, say, no, you don't look like a good fit here. And I think diversity was very good for that. And I think that's still the way it is. I think you should be judged entirely on the merit of who you are as a worker and what you've done. Any other thing, no matter what they look at, they shouldn't be looking at that. There should be some way of doing a blind interview. I mean, yeah, of course you have to meet the person face to face, but hopefully if somebody's gotten to that point, you're actually seriously considering them as a candidate.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, one of the things that they try to do if, say, I go in there for an interview and I already work there, is they will look at your experience on the paper, not from what they know of you. That is actually, for a lot of the people, is really hard. And I know it was hard for one of my leads, and they're like, we want you in this spot, but HR isn't doing it because they know you don't have a license. And that's what they want. And now if they say, well, we can't do the interviews because you don't have a license, I can throw it on the table and go, so what's your excuse this time?
Right.
Because they know I have a license now. I've made it known to HR and I've made it known to my boss because I kind of drive myself to work. And it's one of those, I'm wondering what will happen, because we do have a newer manager there that I think at least 1 to 5 people on every shift have written a suggestion box of fire him and get somebody better in the position. No one likes him because he has taken all that work that our previous person put in there to help us remember that we are part of the Clark College family. We're part of a group. We're all co-workers together. Just because somebody's a teacher and you're a custodian does not make them better than you. You're part of this group that is Clark College. Mm-hmm. What he is doing is saying, no, they're the customer. They're always right. So something's wrong. It's your fault.
Yeah. Customer's not always right. Sometimes they're wrong.
Oh, yeah. Basically trying to make us feel like we're lower than them and we're only there because we're contracted. We're not contracted through anything. We were hired by the school. We were hired just like they were. We have to follow the same rules just like they do. Except for we have keys everywhere and they don't. But besides the point of he's making us feel like we're supposed to be over in this little circle and everybody else is over here. And he has already demonstrated to all of us part-timers that he doesn't trust us, unlike our previous one who, when they had their fun teaching and learning days, who pretty much looked at it, he's like, okay, the senior part-timer is you. You're stuck as lead for the next 3 days. You all have 8-hour shifts if you can do them. And the school is in your hands. We did it with no problem and not having any issues happening. The newer guy's like, no, I don't trust them enough to do that. They're just part-timers. They don't know what they're doing. That is what made us, all the part-timers, going, regardless of half of us being hired by you and the other half being inherited, no one wants to be around you.
And what's your living situation? You still staying at the same place?
Right now, yes, because like I explained earlier, the place that we are looking at is they're holding it until they can verify that my income is considered substantial and not just here and there because my title is part-time, part-time temporary. So that whole word temporary gets a lot of places into the, you're only temp. What happens if they cut the temp?
Yeah. No, I remember that. I was just curious because it looks like your background looks different.
Yeah, because a lot of it's actually packed away and things are moved around. We've been working on getting the carpet looking.
Okay, but you're still in the same place. You're just waiting. Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, yes. We're just waiting for, if I get the full time, I can take all that stuff in and we have the green light to sign the contracts and get moved in.
Well, that's good. It sounds like your landlord's being a little nice, because last time, what was it, like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, they were telling you that you had to move out, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you're moving in the first place.
Yeah.
And so I was under the assumption that you were like, you had to find a place right away, but it sounds like your landlord's actually working with you.
We were under that assumption of we had to find a place to get out as quickly as possible because they originally, the company that it was contracted through wanted anyone with a service animal out because they wanted to make this a dog-free area. Mm-hmm. So they were pretty much telling people, if you have pets, you got to get rid of them.
Right.
And Cerberus is a service dog in training. Granted, he's a pain in the ass in training, but
he's a service dog for what, anxiety or stress?
He's in training for mobility. So say if I'm walking and my knee decides to go out of joint, he actually is strong enough to pull me to the point to where it will help me pop it back into place. He's also able to open my backpack to get my inhaler out. He knows the difference between my inhaler and his chew toy, which is a good thing. So he is smart. He knows what he's doing. He just doesn't understand that. No, sit, stay, don't jump, you idiot.
But don't they? And they don't have a clause in the in their tenant lease about service dogs?
They used to,
but they took that out. Oh, yep. I see.
But because this building area, this apartment place is actually under section, not 80, it's like section something where it's look for low income people, meaning if we made over $1,500 a month, not 1,500 a month, over 50,000 a year, we could not live in here.
Right. Yeah, because you fall. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Section 8 is one of the most common ones that people hear about, but there's other sections. There's like Section 7, Section 6, and down the line.
yeah,
So yeah, exactly. Because a lot of things that happen with people here, especially in San Francisco, is you have on the spectrum, you have people who are, say, on welfare or uh, Social Security, and they're getting a subsidy or housing subsidy or Section 8 housing, usually waiting for it because it's usually a long list. And those people are on one end where they can get affordable housing, they can get some help, they can find, a place to live. Then you have on the farther end of it where you have to make X amount of money to survive in San Francisco on your own. Like you have to make, I don't even know what it would be. You'd have to make like 120,000 a year or something like that, something ridiculous. It's a lot of money. And then everybody falls in this gray area, quote unquote middle class, are just screwed because they make enough where they can't depend upon aid, but they don't make enough where they can, you know, live comfortably. And
yeah,
so there's this whole gray area where most people end up moving outside of San Francisco looking for a place to live. So yeah, I know what you mean by that. Yep.
yeah. I mean, and they luckily the government uh, things are like, no, 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 no. That's not how this works. We're not allowing you to make people get rid of their animals that they've had since they moved in here, or even if they have them under service, because they were trying to contest my doctor saying this is their service animal because technically he's still in training.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my doctor's like, no, 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 she needs this dog. We've agreed on this a long time ago, and she's agreed to train him because she cannot afford to pay someone to do it for her.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was asking you if it was I forget what they call them, but it's like an emotional or
Emotional
just like a
support animals.
yeah, exactly, emotional support animal. But then there's actually like service animals, which are different. So that's why I was asking you if there was a different what the dog was, what type of a service dog it was. Because
Well,
usually if it's a service dog, usually there has to be legally some sort of clause. Somehow they have to allow you to have that because it's like an oxygen tank. You have to have it.
yeah.
It's not a choice.
Well, what they were trying to say was because he was in training, and my doctor's like, "Oh, no, 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 she can't live without this dog. This is how her knee's staying in place. This is how she is getting around and being able to be functional." Where it comes to emotional support animals, they're not always protected, depending on the state,
Mm-hmm. Right.
underneath the same thing a service dog is. And you have to read bylaws and stuff like that. Some places will treat emotion support animals as service dogs, but you need a psychologist's approval first for emotion support animal. You can't just say, well, this is my emotion support animal. You have to have documents from
Right.
a psychologist or a medical profession saying that that is what it is. Cerberus is, from my doctor's standpoint, because he has met my dog, he knows this dog is stronger than a normal small little fucker he's supposed to be, and knows he meets the qualifications of what I need. I mean, this dog is 20 pounds as he is, and most of it is muscle because of the fact that he has 3 working dogs. Okay, Corgi's kind of a working dog. He has the Corgi, the Collie, and the German Point. And
Yeah.
2 of those are herding dogs, and they're meant to be bulk. They're meant to be strong, and the Corgi frame is short, stubby, and sturdy. So he works for what he does, and we won that battle. So we were like, "Ooh, yay!" I mean, we still live in that gray area where, granted, Soren is making the money that we need to live, mostly to keep the rent paid. My paycheck goes to bills, and I still get food stamps because they still look at my pay, laugh at me, and say, "Oh, honey, you're stuck on this till you get full time." And when you have somebody in a state office tell you that, even though you've been working your butt off to get off of food stamps, it's kind of disheartening a little bit to yourself because not everyone wants to rely on aid. And I've been trying for years so I wouldn't have to. And as soon as I get full time, the first thing I'm going to do is go down there and say, I don't need these anymore, and actually be happy about it. I mean, it's an odd thing to be happy about, but it's better than it will go to somebody else who needs it. And that's what matters there. But I'm just hoping we find the place that we're looking into. We have another person who's willing to go in with it as well. So, because it is a 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms and a nice backyard. And they're like, nobody wants it, but we're holding it for you guys if you meet these qualifications by December. So hopefully by December, we'll be out of here in a nice new place with a backyard, and I can set a room up for YouTube studio and actually have the stuff I need for it. Instead of running off a computer webcam.
Yeah. Oh, and then let's see. Then Zabora was mentioning how her dad was on Section 8 till he died. Yeah, exactly. People get on Section 8, and yeah, they end up staying there for so long because it's so good. And then people are always waiting for that list.
Yep. I knew somebody who sat on that list for 5 years before they got help.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, my parents are still hoping to get help with theirs. They do have help with food at least, but that's about it.
Zabora says you want a roommate or two?
Oh, well, when we move out of here, when we have enough income for everything, it'd be great. That's why one of my friends is moving in with us because, well, one, her cat likes our cats, and that works. And all 3 of them can beat up the dog.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a commute, though, from Washington to Arizona.
That would be. You'd be taking a plane every day.
Or a very long drive.
That's like a 2-day drive, depending on how much energy drink you've had. Keyword is how much energy drink you've had. But
so yeah, I guess for Heathen Haven, and we're just waiting because the last I heard from Dorian it sounded like he was having to move too.
Yeah, he was in the middle of moving. He said around the beginning of September he would be moving to his new place. So I think he had to dismantle his own setup and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for Heathen Haven, we're just waiting on Dorian, and then I set up a Discord server, and I was thinking that we could invite people to that Discord server, and then if people wanted to come on to the show, we can pull them from that Discord server.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, because I don't know if everybody has access to Discord, So we'll have to figure that out.
The upside about Discord is I even have it on my phone, which is somewhat fun. And I'm that dork who pays $4 a month for Discord Nitro because I want to use all my little emojis in every room. Because I have some pretty interesting ones. But I mean, I have my own Discord server as well. It's mostly for my Patreons, which right now is one whole person. But hey, like I said, start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And from what my mom uses Discord as well because it's easier than Skype and less likely to drop your call.
Yeah. Well, I have Leon says that he has Discord. So Leon, if you go to my latest video that just came out today, and you look down in the comment, not the comment section, but the little information box that's right below the video, there's a link to the Discord server. So if you want to join it, you're more than welcome to.
He's in my Discord server as well too, so I can pick on him.
Oh, okay, good. There you go.
He's my only patron.
Yeah. See, because like Zavora is saying, she doesn't have Discord, and she doesn't even know what it is. Yeah. So I mean, there's probably going to be people who don't have Discord, and so that's cool. I know sometimes it's a pain in the ass to download a whole fucking program just to have it so you can you know what I mean, just so you can use that as a means to connect with somebody or whatever, and it just seems annoying. So
it can be, and it is, and I'm glad that it was actually very easy to figure out and use. Some of the bots sometimes though irritate me. Trying to fix one of them because it's supposed to have I think it might not be doing a ranking system on my server because I only have a few people, but it also makes me giggle with the name of a few of them, like I have a Drossel in my server, which is basically the tree of life.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at the command, what it does. It does like everything as other bots, but for me, it also, I have it set up to where it sends me messages if people delete messages in the server.
Mm-hmm.
So that basically I have a record of them.
Yeah, because I have the YouTube bot, but I have no idea what it does. It's just there.
I would have to look up it. I mean, the Patreon bot is connected to our Patreon so that
Right.
it will give the Patreon bonuses if we have, say, like, on one of my tiers that actually activated and is working. I have to fix the other two, to where it says Discord bonus or Discord thing to it, which grants people access, and certain tiers get certain names on mine. I mean, I'm that person that goes around making roles and stuff like that for fun and playing with the color tags. But I also have to change my actual name in every server I'm in because I'm in so many, and I don't want to change it off of Legendary because screw it. It was a bitch to get that name to begin with. I mean, you're not lame, Zabora. You're like most of us who are over a certain age. You're like, do I really have to do this?
Yeah, exactly.
All them darn kids are on these and on the internets, and I just got used to Skype.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually uninstalled Skype. And I actually uninstalled Discord too because my my C drive was getting so filled up that I had to start eliminating some programs, and so I ended up eliminating some other older programs and then reinstalling Skype and now Discord.
On the Mac, unfortunately, it won't let me remove Skype.
That's
but
weird.
It's not taking up much room on here, but I never sign into it. Because I'm never on Skype, because every time I've used Skype, it's screwed up somehow.
But how come you can't uninstall it?
I don't know. I've tried, and we've tried on Soren's and other computer, and we just don't know why it's not. It's kind of like on a phone where you can hit something and uninstall it, but it's still on there, just waiting for the updates.
That's weird.
I mean, my phone does that with if I take if I try to get rid of like say something I never use, which is Google Playbook. Google Playbook. It will not take it fully off my phone. It will tell me ready for updates.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking, yeah. Because I've done that with my phone too, where I wanted to uninstall applications, but certain applications I just can't uninstall. Yeah, I know what you mean. I thought you were talking about a computer.
Well, actually, no. My Mac does that with Skype. I don't know why. I don't know if Apple has a deal with Skype or something.
Okay, so on your computer, on your Apple computer, you can't uninstall Skype also. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, that seems weird. I don't know about that. That's that sounds weird.
It does, and I'm tempted to call Apple support and figure out what's wrong with it. Because I can't take it in to get it fixed because it's considered archived, and they won't even attempt to touch it.
Weird.
Apple's weird that way. If they archive something, they refuse to work on it.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I was going to art school, I bought a really nice Mac computer, and I had it for a long time. I really like Macs. They're very easy to use, but they're just not compatible. I mean, they're really good if you do design work. Like I have an old Apple laptop that I use occasionally, and it has like all my old design programs on it. That's the program that I use to create art and fonts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I use this mostly for Photoshop and getting some of my artwork redone and just having fun with it. And yeah, I do sometimes play games on here, mostly just Stardew Valley because I'm a dork and farming on a virtual farm is better than actually going outside and when you don't have a place to farm. So I play that game on here, and that's about all I really use it for. And so art, talking to you guys, and trying to get the video editing software to work, which is what happened. Okay, I just found another one of my dog's teeth.
Uh-oh.
He's losing his baby teeth, and I just put my hand in the cup holster on my thing and found one of his little fangs. His little canine.
So Leon's asking, do you use Mac for your videos?
Yes.
Ah.
All I have is the Mac. Soren's computer does not have a webcam. It has a mic feature, has all that, but it does not have a webcam because the TV, the flat screen TV that we use for it, does not have a camera on it, obviously. We have to get an external one for it, and the one that we're actually looking at, because as soon as we're able to get an extra room where we can make it into kind of a little studio, is when we're going to start setting up their computer more or less to do my videos, because their editing software is better than what I have.
Nice. And what do they have?
They have, I got to look at it, but I've played around with it, and it's much easier to use. I can splice my videos, watch parts of it that I want to, take out things that I want to get rid of a lot quicker than waiting a long time for it just to load.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's the thing with video files, is if you have let's say 20-minute video, that's, even if it's at like 720 by 1280, it's still, that's a huge file. That's like a couple of gigs, you know. And yeah, so you really have to have a pretty good computer just to even open up a video file. And then from that point, yeah, it has to be easy to do editing and stuff like that. I mean, if you can just, if you can be one of those people where you sit down in front of a computer and you do like a one take and then you just immediately upload it to YouTube, that's awesome. But most of us just aren't that, one take skilled. But some people are.
Yeah, I mean, because with the Mac right now, that's all I can do are the one takes. I've re-recorded I think one of my videos I re-recorded 10 times because I was tripping over my words. And I would say something I shouldn't have, or the dog would bark or jump up and almost knock down the computer. But
do you back up and redo the whole video if you make a mistake?
I have to, because the editing software on here.
Because I see. Yeah. Because you're limited by your software. Yeah.
In order for it to load, it takes about 3.5 hours to load a 5-minute video.
Yeah. It takes what?
Because my Mac is one of the older, closer to, I think, second generation of the flat screen ones. It takes almost 3 hours for a 5-minute video to load.
It takes 3 hours for a 5-minute video to load?
Into the editor.
That's
it's
ridiculous.
Not right, and it's ridiculous, and I obviously don't have the money.
At what resolution?
The lowest.
What is the lowest?
The lowest I think I can get on here, what was it? My lowest quality on here is 144.
Okay, so it takes 3 hours to load a 5-minute video at 144p.
About 5 to 10. Most of my videos are over 5 minutes. So it's at least a 5 to 10 minute video. It takes almost 3 hours.
Wow.
It takes almost 2 hours to burn a CD with 12 songs on it. So that shows you what I'm actually working with. And oddly enough, when it comes to streaming or other things, it works perfectly fine, because it's immediately going right on there and not saving.
Right. And wow. Yeah. That's difficult to do.
Like I said, it's an old Mac. Soren had this from when they started college. So it's from at least 2009.
Yeah.
So it isn't a new glorious shiny pretty new Mac. I wish it was.
Yeah, yeah, because I started doing my videos, or actually uh, midway towards being on YouTube, I switched over to 1920 by 1080, and that was just too much. And so now my videos are down to 720 by 1280, I believe. And that's a good because it's still high definition, but it's still low enough where it's not a ridiculous file to work with. And also, I have an external drive that I need to eventually back up pretty soon. But yeah, the files really take up a lot of room.
Yeah, we have a terabyte drive that we have one for the Mac and we have one for Soren's computer. So we have two of them,
Mhm.
just so we have one for each, so we have our backups just in case something happens. Because the Mac has literally crashed and we've had to start it from scratch before. And one of the main programs that always gets reinstalled on here is the Photoshop because, dear Lord, we pay too much money for that.
Yeah.
But we use it.
And what operating system is the Mac running?
The Mac is running. I actually have to look at that. System programs. It takes forever to load this stupid thing sometimes. Unless it's actually going to open quick for once. Hey, and it did. My system right now. Where are you? Wacom tablet. General. No, wrong one. Am I gonna have to go in and remember what the crap? It is running right now. Mac OS 10.12.6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So
it's
it's like
still
Safari something.
yeah, it's still Safari.
Yeah.
Which it's not bad. I just don't ever use the Safari browser ever.
Oh no. I was thinking the name of the operating system. I forget what they called it.
It's I know it's the Mac ISO, and that's normally Safari in
Because I know
general.
when they moved over from 9 to 10, that was a big mess, and they had to do like a whole bunch of rollouts because just moving from 9 to 10 was just crazy. It was like there were so many problems people were having, and so much stuff was incompatible and all this stuff. And I think they worked out most of those bugs. But I think the operating system they have now is pretty much one of the most stable ones
It
that they've
is.
had. Yeah.
It is a good operating system. It gets the job done, but on older Macs like mine, some things are a lot slower than they would be on a newer one.
Right. Yeah, because the operating system also takes up so much more memory.
Yep.
So I think it's also based on a 64-bit instead of a 32-bit system. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, because my the MacBook I have it's the is it the Pisma or something like that? The Pismo. Anyhow, but it's the very first one that had USB ports on it.
Oh, that little one.
Yes. So yeah. So I mean the reason why I'm hanging on to this is because well one day it's going to be an antique. you know, I
Mine's
give it
already
to
an
my niece or
antique.
nephew, and they're basically going to have an antique, one of the very first Apple computers that had USB ports. But
Mine is an antique right now. Are you kidding me?
yeah, but it could not. So it could, if I wanted to, I could upgrade it to 10. But it's just not worth it because I have Adobe Illustrator on there. I have uh, Photoshop, Fontographer. I have all, like you said, all my design programs, and all of them run on 9. They wouldn't be able to run on 10. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
We have for Photoshop, I believe it is. We have Photoshop. We have CS6, and it runs perfectly fine on here at least, until I do something, screw it up, and I have to make Soren come fix it.
Mhm.
I still screw things up, but what we have at the college is the more all the way up to date latest thing, because we use Macs for the art programs and for photography, and because it's still some of the best to use for those things. Where, like, say when I had my little laptop, I had Corel Draw on it for a long time because it worked great with my Wacom pad, and it worked good with Windows. It doesn't quite work that well on the Mac, so I use Photoshop instead of Corel. And I actually have a copy of Corel on a disk thanks to my dad, and it also has its verification code on it. But it's one of those, you look, there's a lot of programs you look at now and you're like, back when I was younger, it's so easy just to go online and type in verification code for this, and you could find one that you could use. Nowadays, they at least make them individually. Which
Yeah,
is,
there's a really fun program. I think it's called Corel Paint or Painter. That's a lot of fun to do. It's really powerful, especially if you use it with Photoshop.
if you can use the two programs together and have them work consistently, you can come up with some of the most interesting looking colors.
Well, what you do is you have to kind of plan it out, but you design it in one program and then port it over to the other one and then finish it. But Painter is really good, especially if you have a Wacom tablet. Like a lot of the backgrounds, like if you want to do Ivy backgrounds or brick backgrounds or whatever, is really powerful for that. The brushes are really powerful. Photoshop is really good for doing masking and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff you can do if you have both those programs.
I mean, with Photoshop right now, I have a bunch of my old artwork that I did from the past that I never got a chance to actually either ink in or post anywhere, and I'm pretty much redoing the line work on them. And I'm able to make them look a lot better than I used to have them, and I'm able to get the shading in correctly with the different layers. So it's like I will spend 5-6 hours on one little drawing that took me 5 minutes to doodle on a piece of paper. And it takes me 5 hours to color it. Because sometimes I look at a layer, I'm like, I don't like how that color looks. Delete. Or I put it on the wrong layer.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what I'll do is I'll work on something and then I'll save it at a certain point where I might go back and change something. And so I might have 10, 12 different copies of the same one that I'm working on. It's just various stages of the work I save it to, so I can go back to it. Like, for example, the background that I use in my videos, the basic background I have, and then I have the various elements that I have added to it. And then for the card design, my main avatar, I have the card itself, and then I have all of the various elements that make up that face, to certain stages in case I want to change certain emotion, certain characteristics of the face.
Yeah. I mean, I have a program through Steam that lets me use like a robotic avatar if I wanted to. But,
oh, cool.
It's called Face Rig. It doesn't exactly work that well on the Mac. The version I got was for a PC because it worked on my laptop. And for a while, I was going to do videos using that. But I couldn't find an avatar I liked, and it wouldn't let me create my own. That's the only problem. I would have had so much more fun creating my own. Yeah. I would have had one of those goofy little witches hats.
Oh, so you can design your own. Do you know what format you can save it as? Or you need to import it as?
You would have to actually buy extra add-ons to the program in order to do it.
Oh, because I mean, I have a 3D modeling program that I'm designing a character on, but I don't know if I need to save it as VRML or 3DS or what version. Because I know like DXF, VRML, and 3DS are one of the more common ones. that you can import into a lot of these programs.
I think with some of them, that one might, I can look in to see if I can import anything on it. I just haven't run it on the Mac because it has issues running on it. And I'm still getting used to not having a touchscreen freaking monitor because my laptop was touchscreen. And anytime I tried to clean the screen, I would open like 12 programs.
Oops.
And so I'm paranoid about cleaning this screen, and I have to remember, no, I can touch this screen and not open 500 different things. But if I put this little pin anywhere near its pad, I can't use my mouse. I'm like, I hate this design. Because I'm used to sitting like my drawing utensils on top of the thing I'm using. And I can't do that. I have to rest it either on my keyboard or in my cup holder or somewhere away from the freaking pad. Because if I was like, why isn't my mouse working? And then I get from Soren, where's the pin to the Wacom? God damn it. I feel stupid for a good 5 minutes after that. Oh.
Well, are you having anybody else enter this chat?
Not at the immediate moment, because I think right now it's died down to only me, you, Leon, and maybe Zabor if she didn't pass out. It looks like it's only me and Leon if you have your viewer thing still going. I obviously have it up so I can read the fun little thing and click on the no, don't hide the fuck this, fuck that, because we're pretty much saying that on screen too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well. I got to drop out because I'm about to cook dinner and it's getting late. So.
Yeah, and I should probably get started on a few things I need to get started on. Yeah. So with that, I'll probably say good night to anyone who's watching. Good night to any of you guys who decide to watch later. Thank you for joining me on this. I really miss having just a random fun chats with you.
Yeah, well, we'll have to connect with Dorian and see how he's doing, and if not, maybe we can have a Heathen Haven without Dorian and just kind of get the ball rolling, because it looks like people are curious about what's going on, and so yeah. Well, it was good connecting with you, Loki. Sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on in your life, but it sounds like it's at least moving forward for you.
Yeah,
So that's good.
That break did help a lot because it helped me focus on getting my driver's license and focus on getting things reset, not only on my channel, but everywhere else. So
good. Yeah,
I think that was a good break for all of us.
Yeah. Well, everything works out.
And now back to the monotonous of going, why are we watching Chalkboard Lady again?
Yeah, exactly. And now back to the face palming program.
Making us think maybe the Sephora kit would have been better, and I was wondering why Christians weren't outraged about it, and we were.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. Because I almost did a video on it, but I was gonna say, like, only witches would be upset that somebody's mainstreaming their religion. It's like Christians would have like a conniption. They'd be like, "Oh my God, they're doing this. This is awesome." And witches are like, "Why are you doing that? People don't understand this." They're
what is the informational pamphlet that's supposed to go with it?
Exactly. We don't want it to be mainstream, damn it.
Exactly, because that means people are going to look at us going, well, how do I join your religion? And you're like, no, I don't want you. Go away.
Exactly.
But even
all right.
that,
well, good. It was good. Nice checking in with you, Loki, and good night all.
You have a good night, and I will see everyone later as well. Have a good evening. Blessed be.
See ya.